Three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43, and tonight we are taking our very first look at the Pozharsky. I don't know what the first word is, but it's D. The D Pozharsky. That's the best I'm going to give you. We are running Andrew the Lip, which is the new commander from the previous update. We've got Nikolai von Essen on there for better penetration angles, and we've got Nikolai Kuznetsov for more range. We've got Born Ready, Piercer, Punch Through, Intuitive, Hit 'em Hard, and Fully Packed. As for the rest of it, we are running Aiming Systems Mod 1, Propulsion Mod 2, Concealment System Mod, and we are running the Main Battery Mod 3. So for every 30,000 damage, we get faster reload. Okay? Now, as far as the consumables go, you get smokes. This is essentially a Kutuzov that's AP only, and it's a pretty nasty little boat if you ever get any support at all, and I do mean that. Like, if you get no support, this ship is kind of not fun. But if you get support, this ship can absolutely brutalize the entire enemy team. And we're going to try to showcase that in the videos that you're about to see. I'm going to give you a couple of different clips plus the actual video, and we're going to go over why I'm so incredibly irritated tonight. But 40,700 hit points, no torp production. Keep that in mind. This ship has 0 torp production. Artillery, 152 millimeter, okay, so 6-inch guns. 57 caliber Mark V BIS. You get 12 of them in a 4x3 configuration. With this build, we get 17.4 kilometers. That is using the Epic Battle Booster to get a little bit more range as well. Reload starts at 6.1 seconds, but again, as you get more damage, that reload starts to drop. 180-degree turn time, 24.6 seconds. It's awful. So keep that in mind. AP shell maximum damage is 3,465, and you only fire AP. Okay, the AP is decent. It's not amazing. It's only 6-inch guns, but just like any of the other AP-only cruisers, especially the light cruisers out there, like the Edinburgh, like the Plymouth, all this, like these things, if you screw around, they're gonna death by 1,000 cut you, and you don't get to heal AP damage back. Not as much anyway. Secondary armament, 100 millimeter 70 caliber SM51Ss. You get 12 of those, reaching out to 5.2 kilometers, reloading in 4 seconds, firing HE shells with a maximum damage of 1,400 and a 6% chance to set fires. Torpedoes, just forget you even have torpedoes unless you're hiding behind an island and somebody rushes you, because they're only 6-kilometer range. They only do, well, they're average 65 knots. 533 millimeter PTA 5368 BISs. You get 10 of them, so a quintuple launcher on either side. Yeah, reload time 131 seconds. Torpedo detectability is 1.3 kilometers, so better than average, but still. Maximum damage 14,400, so these do hit kind of hard, especially for 533 millimeter torpedoes, but still. The 6-kilometer range kills any potential that you're going to get to use these, because if you're using these torpedoes, you're probably too close. 37 millimeter V11 AAs. You get 32 of those, doing 147 damage per second, reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. The AA on this thing, for what you have, is actually pretty solid. And then the 100 millimeter 70 caliber SM51S dual purpose secondaries, you get 12 of those, reaching out to 5 kilometers with 117 damage per second. Maneuverability on this thing is not particularly fun. 34 knots is nice, but 760 meter turning circle is worse than a South Dakota class battleship, which means that this light cruiser, if you're not careful, gets sent to the Shadow Realm real quickly. It does not like to turn, much like most Russian cruisers, right? They just don't like to turn. Rudder shift time 6.5 seconds with this build. Concealment, detectability by sea is 12 kilometers. It's awful. You may want to spec into doing some concealment instead of range. I mean, that's on you. If you want to throw in a concealment commander inspiration, I don't blame you, because 12 kilometers for a light cruiser is stupid. It's just stupid. Detectability by air, 7.5 kilometers. Guaranteed is always 2. And then the smoke firing penalty for a light cruiser is abysmal, 7.3 kilometers. Like, I don't understand why they've nerfed this thing as hard as they have. Like, I say nerfed. I don't know what it's like on PC. I'm assuming it's on PC. But, like, for a light cruiser, and it's incredibly strong. So I get why, but at the same time, I don't. Like, most of the stats that they have don't make sense. Like, the smoke firing penalty being 7.3. That is worse than some heavy cruisers. Why? Can anybody answer that question? Why does 6-inch guns have a worse smoke firing penalty than 8-inch guns? It makes no sense. None. But what do I know? But anyway, just little things that drive me crazy about some of the decisions that they make. But it does hurt their ship with the smoke firing penalty quite badly. But yeah, win rate, terrible. Again, just showing that I've had zero support the entire time that I've played this ship. Zero. I've played 6 battles, and they have been absolute bangers, but my teams have been absolute garbaggio. And there's nothing I can do about that. And this ship just doesn't carry very well because at the end of the day, if it doesn't get to utilize its smoke with that turning circle and the fact that it's got the slow turrets that don't turn very well, you're in trouble. It struggles to carry in the clutch situation. Now, it is fully capable of just absolutely smashing most things that it comes up against if given an opportunity. But the problem is when you get down to those situations where you have to spot your own targets and you have to dodge and you got to keep the gun cycling, like that's where the thing struggles. It isn't a knock on the ship. It's just that is the facts, right? Like it doesn't turn very well. The turrets are so slow. But you give this thing a chance, it's going to murder you. Just like every other AP cruiser in the game. Squishy, but they will murder you. But yeah, you can see average damage 82,000. That's pretty solid for a cruiser. I mean, that's right up there with my battleship's average. So you can see that these things are pretty nasty. You can also see that my potential damage is higher than most cruisers should be. 750,000, and especially with this thing's turning circle and terrible turning turrets. But what do I know? Anyway, moving on to the armor, you don't really have any. It's a Russian cruiser, so 25 millimeter pretty much everywhere. You do have what looks to be a belt, but it's not really. The belt is the Citadel, as you can see. So exposed Citadel, as you'd expect on a Russian cruiser, you get caught, you die. Simple as that. And this thing, to its credit, doesn't get caught all that often because most of the time you're medium to long range. You want to keep that distance if you can. Just let these AP shells rain in from hell. I know that doesn't make sense. Rain in from heaven makes the most sense, but I'm telling you, if you're on the receiving end of one of these AP cruisers, it feels like hell. Surgical strike. Short fuse time results in lower chances of overpenetration. These shells are pretty good even against destroyers, which is nice. Reloader above average main battery reload speed. I mean, they're not quite as good as the like British cruisers at getting rid of destroyers, but if a destroyer over angles, you're gonna slap them, right? Above average main battery reload speed. For the number of guns that you have, this thing should terrify you if left unchecked. Flare for piercing just means it's got AP only. The Pozharsky, a Project 68 BIS light cruiser that was part of a shipbuilding program originally planned to commence in 1938. Dmitry, that's the name, Dmitry Pozharsky, only joined the Navy in 1954. The design process for this new cruiser took into account the newest technologies as well as World War II experience. Her career was mostly spent on duty in the northern and eastern seas and oceans, and she was eventually sold for scrap in 1990. She entered service in 1954. So there you have it. It's a real ship. And honestly, it's a good-looking ship. I actually like it. Yeah, I mean, it does suffer from the flat angles that you expect out of British and Russian cruisers. Like, they're just flat on the broadside, and they stick out of the water so high. But if you look at the broadside of this thing, I mean, it looks pretty good. And the camo. I mean, the camo's solid. This is one of my favorite, like, camos, I think. It's pretty good. I like it. But, other than that, yeah, she does suffer when she doesn't get help. And you cannot carry hard enough to carry the amount of potatoes that I've had on my teams. I promise you. I don't care if it's PG Rapids. I don't care if it's Aaron. I don't care if it's Big B. I don't care who creator that's better than me at the game. Zarky. I don't care. Durka. All of them. They are not going to be able to carry the teams that I've had. I promise you. Doesn't matter how bad or how good you are. It's just not going to help you with the potatoes, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about in the video. So with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so this first match is just going to be a quick one for you guys. It's a short lobby of a 7v7, and we're going to showcase just how strong this little boat can be against other cruisers, especially when they get complacent. Now, we get spotted by the Amalfi. We're both in the cap here. Well, technically, he's not in the cap. He's sitting just outside the cap. But you'll notice that there is another cruiser out here who's shooting HE at us, which turns out to be the Montpellier. And as we're sitting here noticing that this Amalfi is going to creep into the cap, you can see he's now contesting. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to push in. Montpellier is likely to spot me here, but if I time this right, I can box him in. If he goes forward, he's going to eat torpedoes. If he stays there, I should be able to kill him very quickly. And this is what this thing is capable of if you disrespect it. And this cruiser, this Amalfi, is about to find out the hard way. Because with this build, I have some pretty stupid pin angles. Now watch. Straight through the bow side plating, blammo. Not the best. Ended up getting some like, oh, what do you call that? Saturation. But there's the death strike with the second salvo. 9 full pins, 8 of them being citadels. Tell me again that you don't want to play around with this ship. And then Montpellier is like, oh, I got this. No, you don't, sunshine. You really don't. And he's like, oh, okay, time to get out of here. And so you can see just how strong this ship can be. Right there. Just in 2 exchanges with other cruisers, we death struck one with 1 salvo, essentially. And then the other one we managed to absolutely crush and force him to back off. And just like that, in a matter of seconds, 53,000 damage on the board. That's what these light cruisers with AP only are capable of. Now, what we're going to showcase next is the opposite of what this thing is capable of. Not only is it capable of absolutely punishing cruisers, but it's also capable of punishing battleships, especially complacent battleships. And the downside, obviously, is you got to be careful because you don't want to do anything crazy. Now, I thought, given that my twisting track or percept or whatever you want to call it, intuition or whatever, is pointing that there's a ship closest to me over here just outside of the A-cap, I thought maybe their destroyer left the center and was coming my way. So we're going to get a couple of shots here at the Brandenburg. I was hoping to get an assist or get the kill here. Looks like it's going to be pretty solid hits, but unfortunately a lot of the shells end up dropping short and just don't hit the ship. Could be my bad aim. Again, just kind of like trying to hit in the moment. Montpellier starts shooting at my Ismo, who's finally decided that, you know, apparently a couple of cruisers aren't that scary after all, and that he should probably get his big, healthy Tier 8 battleship into a fight when it's a 7v7, but what do I know? I'm just at a point anymore where I just assume that I'm not going to get any support. And that has been the case for this ship. It's not the ship that's the problem. It's just there's been no teammates. This is the one time, the one game that I've been able to get teammates that actually do something. And it wasn't the people next to me that did it. But look at this shot into the side, upper side plating, that raised flight deck. We're going to go for a bow side plating here. And you can see just we're pinning more than we're not, right? These pin angles are disgusting. Because of the build that I have. With Von Essen plus the extended pin angles that this thing has, I think it's pretty nasty. Now, he is going to try to bow tank. That's going to save him a little bit of damage here, but you can see the smoke firing penalty is hurting me. I thought that I had enough range between me and him to avoid that, but we end up taking a torpedo here from the carrier, because of course carrier's got nothing better to... Oh, wait, they're not the carrier, the battle carrier, who ends up torping us. I just didn't really care. I'm just trying to get rid of the man, but you can see I had used my torpedoes from the left side on the potential for the destroyer to come around, and he never did. And then the Nebraska here, I mean, he's got to angle towards the battleship, right? So he's opening up that side, and we are just shredding that side. Now, we did shatter or bounce off of a couple of the higher shells that hit the flight deck, but if we hit the side of his ship, we are going to pin. He takes another shot at us, and we get away with just one penetration. But I initially was like, okay, we'll double back, we'll start shooting at the Montpellier, but then Montpellier is going to start doing a full circle, so I'm like, okay, well, in that case, there's a battleship that is on the other side of the map, plus a cruiser. I'm going to go over that direction, try to help them. Ismo and whoever's over here should be able to deal with the Montpellier, right? So that's what we're going to do next. Now, you can see, in that short amount of time, in the, 3 engagements that we've had, we've put up 90k. All right, 9 citadels. We got a dev strike on a cruiser with a single salvo because, again, this ship is nasty, if given the opportunity. Now, again, as we've mentioned, it is squishy. It's got that exposed citadel if you get caught by a battleship specifically, but if you get caught, you're going to go back to port, right? It's the same thing with all of the other AP-only cruisers. Anytime you get an AP-only cruiser, there's going to be the downside of you screw up one time, and that's all it takes to go back to port. But here, you're going to see me start to farm the Pommern, and what could have been an absolutely incredible game is going to pretty much just be another just ho-hum game, because our destroyer is going to drop some deep water torpedoes in there, and despite the fact that the Pommern knows that there's a destroyer there, and despite the fact that he has the potential to have sonar and should be potentially running it right now, he has decided to sail in a straight line. And these torpedoes are going to find their mark, and all of his health is going to disappear quickly. But in the meantime, we're going to try to use our smoke screen here. You can see I do get spotted momentarily, but it's not that big a deal. There's only one person that can shoot me. So once we do get, and you can see all of his health just evaporates. So there goes any chance that we're going to get like a decent amount of damage out of this guy. But you can see the other thing is, like, if you hit armor, obviously being AP only, you're going to struggle. But if you can get to the shells to hit the superstructure, hit that upper side plating, that sort of stuff, if anybody's dumb enough to give you a broadside, you can farm them very, very quickly for a lot of damage. But yeah, this game's over. The Kuchezov's going to take off. We're not going to bother worrying about what's left. I think we end up getting one shell hit on him and like 99,000. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next match. Alright, so we're going to be on Greece. And this is going to be one of those matches that I was talking about, where you just have absolutely nobody. Nobody. And so we're going to do everything in our power. And I'm going to show you just how disgusting this little ship can be if left to its own devices. Because we're going to get a lot of people to farm in this match. And we're going to showcase just how disgusting this little boat actually is. And again, I don't think it's anything particularly special. It's the AP cruiser. You guys know how these AP cruisers do at this point. Like, they are pretty incredible when they can get to do what they're doing. It's the problem with them is that they tend to struggle in the carry capacity. Now, Plymouth doesn't. I mean, you get, what, 16 guns on the Plymouth instead of 12? So Plymouth is pretty disgusting. Some would say it's pretty overpowered, but initially we're going to go off to the right side. We spawned over here, but pretty quickly you're going to realize that there's just nobody here, right? Nobody's home. Lights are on, nobody's home. So we're going to have to make a decision, and we have no spotting. I have learned at this point that spotting with my face in this ship is a bad idea, right? You just don't want to do it. If you can get away with it, try to hang back, be a little bit more patient, stick at some medium range, and look for those beautiful crossfires. That's what you got to do in order to give yourself the best possible chance to win the match. But again, this ship really struggles when it doesn't get help because of those slow turrets and the turning circle. The rudder shift itself isn't bad, so you can dodge relatively easily. So like if you need to juke shells, it's not really that big a deal. But the turning circle is where it hurts. Like the idea that once you start to turn, you can't finish the turn in a rapid manner, which really hurts light cruisers specifically because they don't do so well when they get hit, right? Now, if you're juking, not big a deal. If you're trying to fully turn, you can see just how big this turning circle is on a light cruiser and how slow these turrets truly are, leading to a scenario where if you need to, in a pinch, to shoot at destroyers up close or shoot at anything where you're having to actively dodge, it's going to be a struggle to keep the guns on target, right? But as we double back, my team does wake up on this flank, but we've got to create a crossfire, right? And with nobody here to spot, I can tell you right now that these guys on this flank are going to do absolutely nothing until like the very last moment that they exist. But they're going to hide behind the islands. I mean, North Carolina's going to run to the back corner of the map and say that he needs support. And then they obviously have a destroyer on this flank. So our destroyer's on the left flank, their destroyer's on the right flank. So I'm going to try to double back, put myself in a central position on the map so that I can try to get as many shots out as possible, because that's where this thing actually thrives. It needs those moments where it gets to sit and snipe, essentially. Just DACA till its little heart content and give it plenty of room to get out the way. Now, as soon as we start firing, we know we're spotted by the destroyer on the right flank. So we're already dodging. You can see the Florida gets lit up here taking a shot at us. Like, it's obvious, right? But the good news is, because they're all starting to shoot at me now, my team should have shots at them, right? So that should at least get that side of the map started. You'd think North Carolina would be able to shoot to Florida, right? In theory. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath, folks. But we're going to go ahead and just show this Colorado what's what as we absolutely farm it for everything that we can. But watch what happens next. This is the typical every time that I try to use smoke on any cruiser ever, right? As soon as I get myself in a position where I can use the smoke screen, you can see I wait till I disengage, I drop spot, and then I start to turn back towards the enemy target. You can see here Colorado is still a target now that we're around the mountain. The Colorado or the Florida, somebody took a shot at me that almost got me. I didn't see him coming. They got lost in the clouds, so it do be like that sometimes. But we're going to get some shots here. I'm hoping to farm this Colorado, and just as soon as I get started to use my smoke screen, I slow down. You can see I'm slowing down way ahead of time. Colorado's now shooting AG at me. But as we slow down to use our smoke, of course, now we have no targets. And this is just typical for me every single time that I use anything that has a smoke tree. Anything at all. Doesn't matter what it is. Anchorage, this thing, Kutuzov, any of the destroyers. Like, I try to use my smoke screen for what it is, and I never get any support. I never get any spotting. I never have anything to shoot at every time. So then I have to leave my smoke screen to try to come out and put myself in a better position to help my team. You can see the left flank, they already grabbed a cap. So both teams have basically traded a cap. We've got more points because we got ours first. But my left flank is starting to collapse. And I'm trying to put myself in position to help them now. Fiji turns his butt to 2 battleships, and that doesn't end well. I don't know why he's turning his butt to 2 battleships, but I wouldn't recommend it. But you can see, just as we see the Akatsuki, he gets spotted. He drops spot. Unfortunate. But Colorado is spotted. He's charging forward. I'm not going to be able to get a shot at him. Anchorage gets spotted. We're going to go ahead and take a shot at him. I thought he was smoking up here, so I thought I'd be able to slap his broadside. You know what these AP shells can do, and the Anchorage is very easy to citadel. But unfortunately, he speeds up, and he gets away from our shells as well. Florida, on the other hand, is going to make a critical error here. Now, I've got to be aware. I'm going to go ahead and drop these torps because I'm going to be turning away. You never know. 6 kilometers, it's not likely to hit him, but if he decides to bow tank and come right at me, then they could actually find their way to finding a target. But as he pushes in, watch, he goes full broadside here to me, and this is what this thing can do, right? You give this thing or any other AP cruiser, AP only cruiser, a broadside, the AP is going to murder your hit points. Just watch the amount of damage we're able to inflict. Every single salvo. As long as you're not hitting like armor, you should be able to pen more often than not. And we are absolutely chunking this man. Every single salvo is, what, 6 to 10k? I mean, just look at it. Every salvo. So we have 69k right now. We get another shot out there. Now we're in 72, so I guess that was only 3. Oh, no, never mind. That was about, I don't know, 6k, I guess, was that one, and then another big salvo. But unfortunately, we lose our La Purla Azul on the right side. The genius in the North Carolina has managed to beach himself and wait for the Gasconia to push up on him. And so now I get spotted out here, and the first thing that they do is shoot at me, which is fine, because I'm at a range, and both their battleships can shoot me, and it's fine. They get a couple of hits on me. It's not that big a deal. I'm going to try to farm them as best I can. I am about to get smoke free back. So the good thing about these smokes is they're not like super short duration, but they reload relatively quickly. So you use your smoke, you do what you can, you get moving again, and then shortly after you get your smoke back. And in a perfect world, you'll have people spotting for you the entire time. Unfortunately, this is not a perfect world. And unfortunately, the enemy is just completely wiping out my team at every single step. Every step that they make is just annihilating my team, and this is what I've been struggling with. It's not the ship. You can see I've put up 94k already, and nobody on the enemy team has died because nobody on my team is capable of doing anything useful. And that's not a knock on the ship, and that's, yeah, it just is what it is. That is the state of World of Warships Legends right now. You either end up on a team that raffle stomps, or you end up on a team that gets raffle stomped. There is no in between. Now, Akatsuki gets spotted momentarily. We take a shot at him with the rear guns because he was available. We get some shots here at the Colorado. The Gasconia is out here shooting at our carrier, so I'm going to try to protect my carrier because he's the only person left on my team at this point, because the battleship's still hiding behind an island waiting to die. And so we're going to try to help our carrier survive and hopefully have a little bit of support going into the late game here. But you'll see pretty quickly, this Gasconia is just angling against us, and it's hard to get some consistent damage because it's not the most accurate cruiser at range. Right, for a light cruiser and the fact that we're running aiming systems in the first slot, it's not the most accurate cruiser. But I'll tell you what, if anybody gives this thing a broadside, most of the dispersion is horizontal, which is exactly what you love to see when people give you broadside. That gives you the biggest spread and most likely shot to get some good hits. But you can see the short fuse armor piercing here on the destroyer. We slapped him. The Gasconia goes down. We slapped him again. I try to get the third shot into the smoke. Unfortunately, he either pulled forward or reversed, and we end up missing. Could have maybe aimed too high. I don't know. But now, unfortunately, we are going to be passing our battleship or our carrier here. We have our first kill on the board. It's not me that killed him. It was the carrier that ended up killing him. But you can see I do go ahead and put up the smoke, or put up the sonar, because we know the destroyer's here. We're able to spot those torpedoes for the carrier, and hopefully he's able to dodge. We've got the carrier's AA plus my AA trying to help. But I know that the carrier's going to the left, and I know there are 2 battleships over there, plus you got these guys coming in through the middle. I know the anchorage is hanging around here too, so we've got to be dodging the entire time. And this is, again, this is where this ship struggles. But we're going to do everything in our power to give our team the best possible chance to win, knowing full well that if they kill that carrier, we lose anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I try to use the smoke screen to drop spot here. I'm outside of the smoke firing penalty range with the Akatsuki. We are going to get some shots here at the Colorado. Should be able to finish him off as the carrier ends up trying to yoink the kill. But we do get our first kill. That's the second kill of the lobby. We got 120,000 damage. And unfortunately, the carrier manages to go towards the enemy, get himself spotted, and he's going to get taken out. But not before I get a couple of more shots here on the enemy team. Now, I'm doing everything in my power to give this team a chance to win, but there's just no hope in some matches, and that's the unfortunate reality of World of Warships. I did run into Zarky tonight, and he was in the Druid, so I can't wait to see his video. He had like 3k XP or something like that, or maybe it was his partner over there in the other destroyer that had 3k. But they had 2 destroyers on their team that did really well, and unfortunately I wasn't able to carry that second team any better than I was able to carry this one. It's just, it struggles, man. It really does struggle in the carry capacity. If you don't get any support, you're just going to lose. Now here, I make a big oopsie. We're the last one alive. I'm trying to dodge. There's time's running out, and I thought I was okay to dodge these torps, but I end up taking one on the rear, and then I over-rotate. I forgot how slow American torpedoes really are. And yeah, we end up turning into both of those torpedoes, which is unfortunate. He does try to drop us on the side, and by sheer coincidence, we managed to turn into him. But game's over. We lose on points. But it's not my fault. I did everything I could. And like I said, the ship is actually kind of fun, but it just, if you don't get any support, like this ship just struggles. And look at that, 2 zeros on my team. Like they weren't AFK, they left early. But it just goes to show everything you need to know about the game. Like, this is the teams that I'm ending up with. 300 penetrations, plenty of damage to showcase the ship. We showed the weaknesses of the ship as well. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.